There's a story behind every t-shirt. What's your t-shirt saying? This is JuliaO, also known as JGO, and welcome to Teeshirt Tales Podcast. Teeshirt Tales is an audio and visual storytelling project that uncovers the stories behind the t-shirts we wear. Some are personal, cultural, political, or promotional. Each episode celebrates individuality and connection through one of the most universal forms of self-expression, the t-shirt. Each t-shirt carries a message, and we capture those stories through photography and spontaneous interviews across New York City and beyond. From bold statements to quiet memories, Teeshirt Tales celebrates individuality and community, proving that what we wear speaks volumes. Stay tuned for our upcoming episode featuring the extraordinary artist Oasa Duvernay as she shares her tale about the creation of a series of t-shirts against capitalism. But before that interview, I'd like to take you back to the early beginnings of Teeshirt Tales. My first interviews were done with two students of mine while I was teaching at the College of New Rochelle, Mary Brown and Justin McCalla. Justin shared many stories as he is an avid t-shirt wearer.
I do wear shirts to be noticed a little bit. I'm a little bit of a attention hound now. I mean, part of it is because I spent a long time not being noticed, not really having anything to recommend myself by and things like that. So I spent a lot of time, I guess, just being like a little fly on the wall or something, you know? So what comes up now anyway is just kind of like, I want to start a conversation. A therapist I know, not my therapist, but a therapist I know, she said that's called being on all the time, feeling the need to be on. Like you're always the party guy. You're always the guy with the quick answer. You're always the guy with the cool shirt. Sometimes I know when I go out, just walking about, no one's going to think about what's on my shirt. But certain places where it's kind of like a hot button issue to wear something like this or anti-Trump or whatever it is, And sometimes with my more fun shirts, I like to do it just to see if anyone notices what it is. And if not, then okay, well, maybe I'm a bit too over people's heads with this idea.
People don't really know what it is. I always have to explain it. Whenever somebody says something, you would say that's what she says, and it makes whatever came out earlier a little bit more perverted. Like yesterday when my coworker, he ordered Chinese food and said, "Man, I didn't know the Chinese delivery guy would come so fast." I just said, "That's what she said." Same thing. It just makes everything you say sound dirtier. So my mom still doesn't know what this means, and I keep on trying to tell her she doesn't get it. I didn't know if you wanted.
But why would it sound dirty?
Because
she didn't get it.
Yeah,
it went over your head.
Because that's what she said. It just makes it sound like she said, like what is it? Like the Chinese delivery man says, "I didn't know the Chinese delivery man would come so fast." That's what she said. Because she was theoretically she's fooling around with the Chinese guy.
It took me a minute.
Real fast.
Bad spellers untie.
I want to say this is the one that my mother got for me, which I thought was kind of silly, but she always cracks up. I cannot wear this shirt around her or she'll start laughing uncontrollably.
I didn't get that one either at first. It took me a minute.
I have a Black Panther t-shirt, the Marvel Black Panther, the comic book character. When I first started wearing it out in the street, people would actually stop me on the street and say they like the shirt. There's a movie coming out in February for Black Panther. They want to know, are you going to watch the movie? It's going to be great, And I guess it kind of ties into that we're finally going to have a black superhero-led movie coming up in February. So that's a very big cultural event that's on people's minds. So I had a lot of people stopped me on the street for that one. There's a hangry t-shirt, Hangry, and the definition, when you don't eat and you get angry and hungry at the same time. I thought that was a very silly shirt. Someone bought it for me, but whenever I wear it, I get a reaction. People always want to laugh. People always want to point at me and say, "Hey, me too," that kind of thing. So those are the two t-shirts I've gotten the most buzz about?
I actually appeared on camera to share my Teeshirt Tales, which I rarely do. So I'm going to sing a little song that I associate with this T-shirt.
You want to sing a song?
For God's sakes, we got to give more power to the people. You want to sing with me? Come on, Jose. Is that what they say? So the significance of this T-shirt, if you can see, some people might recognize the person that's on it is Kathleen Cleaver. She was one of the significant people of the Black Panther Party. This T-shirt was purchased during the Black Panther Film Festival, and at the time, Kathleen Cleaver, who was organizing the event, she worked out of the office of St. Clair Bourne, who I work for. And St. Clair is, or he was, because he recently passed, a distinguished and well-known documentarian. This T-shirt, it's worn with pride. I found out that I was about to become a grandmother a second time through a T-shirt that my son purchased. My granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, Juliana, she greeted me and the T-shirt said, "I have a big secret." And then of course I asked her, "What is that secret?" And then she turned around and the T-shirt read, "I'm going to be a big sister." Another Teeshirt tale involved my father, who has since passed, and my daughter, Crystal. Soon after she was born, I think the first time that my father saw her, he cradled her in his arms and he was saying as he looked at her, "You are a little peanut." And Southern roots, he was probably more like use a little peanut. You're a little peanut. And so my son Jermaine, he remembered this. And then when his second daughter was born and he was holding her, he held her and he said, "You're a little peanut. You're a little peanut." And I remembered this, and when I was buying a gift, I came across this, it wasn't really a T-shirt, it was a onesie, but it said "Little Peanut." And I said, "That's perfect." So it's an example of a shirt having a message, or having that perfect message, or having that message that is important. And my son got it, and I think he really liked it. Mary Brown had a couple of T-shirts that she says referred to a past relationship.
I purchased this shirt because I was going through something at the time, and I saw the shirt, and I said, that fits my situation. So I bought a few shirts. I didn't just buy one. I bought 3 to give to other people that was going through things, you know, in their life. And a lot of time, I'm gonna speak for me, but I know other women as well that went through the same thing. When things is not working out with you and the individual that you're dealing with at that time, we tend to think it's something that we did, or what did I do, or how I'm looking, or is he looking at this other woman, or you know, you just start thinking all negative things about yourself, when in reality, it's not yourself. So it starts with inside. So I love me. I'm my best friend, me, myself, and I.
You weren't sure whether you could still fit that T-shirt.
Yes, because it was so long ago when I bought this T-shirt. I am not with stupid anymore. Not that he was stupid, but the things that he would do sometimes just didn't make sense. So I just saw the T-shirt and I thought about him. I'm not with stupid anymore. So that relationship is in the past. Like I said, with my first T-shirt, I love me, it shines the light on me, so it's over. I really don't have too much to say about him because it's been a while, and that's why this T-shirt is kind of tight. But it's okay, because I'm not with stupid anymore. Pussy whip. Pow. Okay, a lot of times when you look at a T-shirt, most people that would look at this T-shirt, they would think automatically on the sexual side. No, when I saw this T-shirt and I look at it as a woman in power. You see that there's a man laying out and this woman has a whip. It's always, when people see things, it's the message you get from it. And my message is that I'm saying to you what I feel, this T-shirt, for the things that I went through in the past T-shirts that I showed you, is because, yes, I'm a female and pussy is associated with us females and the cat too. Well, cat is associated with us females. And I whipped them, pussy whipped out of my life. So that's my definition. It's not that I pussy whipped him. I pussy whipped him for me. And he's out of my life. Pow.
You just saying that for the camera.
Even though he was pussy whipped too. Maybe that's why he was kind of crazy. No, but the pussy whipped me. I finally got him out of my life. And it's how you
Now the realness is coming out now.
it's how the audience received this T-shirt. And like
When you first bought it, what made you buy it?
Well, when I first bought the T-shirt, what made me buy it, because I saw a sexy lady in the front, and it says Pussy Whip, and I feel that, like I said, I'm a strong person, and that could be me, pussy whipping somebody that I love. And, yeah, that's how I saw it. But I'm going to end it off. I pussy whipped him out of my life.
Mm-hmm. Mary telling her story, changing it for the camera.
Please. I'm Alyssa Duvernay, and I'm an artist living and working in Crown Heights, Brooklyn.
Okay. And I love your shirt. Capitalism. What does it say? Tell me what it says.
Okay, so this T-shirt says capitalism with drippy monster gore letters, and then underneath it says destroy it before it destroys you.
What do you mean by that?
So I guess it's it's like the picture on here below is of Donald and Ivanka Trump with a platter of money and more gory drippiness coming from that platter of money. And I made it during the first Trump term. And it actually came out of this other thing that I was doing. Like I kind of I use this design. I've used this design for a lot of different things, but always referencing capitalism. And I will change the heads. And so during the first Trump presidency, these were the two heads on here. just Donald and Ivanka, 'cause it was funny. There was a picture of her holding like a can of Goya beans once because she was talking about how much she loves Goya. I think Goya had donated a bunch of money to, I don't know, like Trump's library or something stupid, like one of those weird bribe things. And I thought that was pretty fucking hilarious. Aside from all the not so funny things that they were doing, it's in itself funny. But the original image I got from like it was like a Thanksgiving holiday supermarket ad where they were advertising turkeys. So it was like this very like white middle class couple where the woman is wearing a string of pearls and a little dress, and the man is in a suit and he's about to take a little piece of turkey, like steal a piece of turkey from the platter. And I just looking at it, it made me think a lot about how the wealthy think of their taking. Like they think it's always for them. They think everything is for them, and that the rest of us are just, I don't know, like the crumbs will suffice. So just seeing that it's like it was like a supermarket ad from maybe that you would get in like the weekly circulars with coupons, maybe from like the 1950s. So it was like some old vintage image that I had found, and I thought it was like a good kind of like a good structure or a good framework to kind of talk about it in a really funny way.
So tell me about the design, because I think of horror.
Yeah, the design is inspired by those, I guess, like old classic horror film fonts, or I guess general design that you would see sometimes for, excuse me, like early horror films. But I am also really inspired by like old punk and hardcore t-shirts. I grew up going to hardcore shows when I was a teenager in the city, and everything was always like pretty DIY. Like, if you wanted something made, you had to figure out how to make it, or talk to somebody who knew how to make it. And so I always like things that look like someone made it by hand. I've always really been into that. I think even in my own artwork, I like there to be some sort of like, I guess it's like, yeah, the aesthetic of it being made by hand, or in it being more thoughtful, and also having some sense of urgency. I feel like, growing up and going to those kinds of shows and listening to that kind of music, like I grew up listening to a lot of like New York hardcore bands and like early hardcore punk, like Bad Brains or even like Minor Threat. I loved in high school, before I got into like more of the local bands, I really liked the Dead Kennedys, which was this like hardcore punk band. And I remember one of the first t-shirts I bought was Nazi Punks Fuck Off, and it had like a big swastika crossed out. And there was something, although like at that point, like I bought that shit on fucking St. Mark's Place, and I'm sure it was being mass produced somewhere. But like just the idea of wearing some shit like that was really meaningful and very flippant, And there's just something I really like about having that message, like carrying that message like on your chest, like you saying it with your whole chest, literally. And so I think all of those types of things, like that type of aesthetic, really influenced me making this t-shirt series.
So tell me about, like you said, having this on.
Yeah, like having it on you. So I think for me, like I've thought a lot about this. Especially like I've thought a lot about this before I made the shirts. But like, what is capitalism, right? Because I think a lot of the times, like we sort of know what capitalism is, but if you're asked to define it, not everyone can really define it. And a lot of people define it by like buying a lot of shit. That's not capitalism. That's consumerism, and it helps to drive capitalism. But capitalism is a system of exploitation, like slavery, where we all come from. Like that is a capitalist system, right? Or capitalism is part of, like, came out of that. And so what are the systems of exploitation versus like other systems of exchange that we have? And so also, so that I thought a lot about that when making the shirt. So I sourced the shirts from thrift shops, so I didn't like buy brand new stuff. So this is like, I don't know, some like, I don't like a 12-year-old summer camp tie-dye experiment. Maybe it was new when they made it, but so I like bought a bunch of like t-shirts from thrift shops. Some of them already had other prints on them that I printed over, especially if it was funny, like if it was like a funny message, or a message that was kind of, I guess, like contradictory to the capitalism statement. So all of those things kind of went into my thinking behind making these shirts, and the design of it is like, well, what is capitalism really? Like, capitalism is not us just exchanging money and buying goods. Like, capitalism is creating the system of exploitation to profit from, and it knowingly harming other people with it. And I don't want to be a part of that, but I'm pretty sure I am. And so what, like, I don't know. I guess like I think about ways I guess to unpack it, maybe to do better. I'm sure there are people who have figured out like how to not use plastic, and not have any sort of like packaging waste or any of those other things. I have not figured that out. I've not figured out how to live my life like that in a way that makes sense to me. I'm sure some people have. As where like there are people who are like, I can't ever figure out how to live without Amazon. Like they just function on Amazon. They're like, I have no choice. This is how I get things. This is how, I'm able to, do this or have this or whatever it is. And that's, I was where like, I don't really use Amazon. I think I do the free trial like a couple times a year. Probably for a while I did that. I don't know. Anyway, I digress. So I guess it's just something that I've been exploring for a while, and thinking about like the destroy it before it destroys you. Just like, well, yeah, like we don't really need this system of exploitation. It's not necessary. We're in it, and so we have to figure out how to stay alive and survive and function in the day-to-day. But like, how can we destroy the system of exploitation before it completely destroys us? So I guess that is the idea behind this t-shirt. This was the first iteration in the series. There's 2 other iterations I made.
So can I see those?
Yes, if I can find them here. They might be in my studio or in my laundry basket.
Well, I can come back for that.
Yes. But those other ones it's the similar font. I think I redid the font for the new ones, and instead of it saying destroy it before it destroys you, it's choose your lose. Because it was 2024, and my idea was to keep this general design and have Donald Trump still there, and instead of Ivanka, just have Joe Biden's head. But then he pulled out of the race. And so I was like, all right, well, I won't be producing that design. And I have this thing where I will not create art that is critical of Black people or Black women, because it will always be weaponized against us. So I did not want to make a shirt with Kamala on it, because I knew I'm not that like it would go viral or like be all over the place, but I know that when we put something out that is critical of each other, if it's left too open ended, or when it's critical of another Black person, if it is too open ended, um, and too easily interpreted in different ways, it will always be weaponized against us. And it's a T-shirt, and I didn't want that. So regardless of how I, like how much I love or don't love Kamala Harris, like I didn't want, like that's just policy for me, in the work that I make, period. Um, the only exception I would say at this point, there might be more if I search long enough, would be like Eric Adams and Clarence Thomas, because they're just dangerous people. Just like, they're just extra special, fucking dangerous. Um, but yeah, so it ended up being, and I got rid of this image completely, and there's one image of the cobalt mines in Congo. So it's choose your lose, and then the cobalt mines, because this is capitalism across, and that is like a very good example of systems of capitalism, the system of exploitation, where essentially the entire world is running on the blood of the Congolese cobalt miners and their families. The entire world functions on that, and it's disgusting, and I'm a part of it. And then another image is from, I believe, if I'm remembering right, it's like from a bombing in Gaza. So it's just like the aftermath of a bombing in Gaza. And it says capitalism across with choose your lose. Because I guess I would say in like 2024, it felt like that those were the choices we were being offered. It's just like, in what way do you want to lose out? In what way do you want to exploit and be exploited? I don't know that that's always true, but it definitely felt true in the moment when I was making the T-shirts. It's like, well, shit, aren't we in a situation? And I think we've been in that situation before, and we've been in it for a really long